Vet with Pets podcast. I'm Elliot.
And I'm Becky, and we're sponsored by Vets for Pets.
And we're sponsored by Vets for Pets Hereford. You can tell that I'm tired. I stayed up a little bit late last night because we're watching Andor on Disney Plus, and we watched episode 11. I think it's 12 in the series.
Oh, okay.
And every time they leave it on a cliffhanger.
Yeah, they do.
So normally what we'll do is we'll watch like from halfway from one episode to halfway through another episode.
What, to stop you being tempted to carry on?
So then we can choose when we stop it, so it's not on such a cliffhanger. But so we sort of did that, but then you get into the 12th episode then, and it's all starting to wrap up. And,
and then you don't want it to end then, do you?
No, I know. I'm very stressed at the moment anyway, and it was like watching the whole series has just not been very useful.
You can't deal with the cliffhangers.
No.
Well, I stayed up because we had the baby pigeon that we had in yesterday, so I just stayed up to give it its meds a bit later. Well, I'd say stay up, it was only 11 o'clock, but
it's still late.
I like to go to bed early.
baby Burp. So Burp was brought in because a client found him, well...
He nearly dropped on her.
Yeah, nearly dropped on her from a height. He was dropped by... She reckoned it was a magpie or a crow or something like that, I think, wasn't it?
But it looked like it fell out the tree, so I wonder whether it just knocked it out of the tree.
But he's probably only 10 days old, something like that. And the main injury was his crop. His crop was so stuffed full of food that you could just see where he'd hit the floor and just splattered, and it had all...
We can laugh now because he's alive this morning.
He's alive this morning.
It's just such an odd thing.
It's full of what looked like cheese, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we anaesthetised him, and you opened him up because you had to empty it. Yeah.
Like even before doing it, he smelled
like gone off milk.
Yeah, like gone off rotten milk.
So you had to open him up to be able to stitch him closed because it was just still so full.
His crop out.
And we just couldn't believe how much came out, could we? Yeah. So then we realised weighing him that day for the meds and things was a bit useless because he was just all crop. But yeah, stitched him up. He was a bit slow recovering and stopped breathing a little bit when he was waking up, but yeah, he's doing well this morning. And so we called him Burp because he smelled like a burp.
That was Becky D's idea, wasn't it?
Such a good name.
And so I think today we're going to talk about reproductive stuff.
Yeah.
Looking at
uteruses,
uteri.
We've had a few, not weird, well, some weird, but some uterus cases, haven't we, of different problems with the feline reproductive tract. So we thought we'd...
Yeah. So I think it's a time of year for sick tortoises as well.
Yeah.
Autumn and spring, you always have a bit of a spike when they're gearing up towards hibernation season, and when they're waking up from hibernation season. And even if they're not actually being hibernated by their owners, it's this time of year and the body's under more stress.
And they do still have, even if they don't hibernate, they'll have like slow days, won't they, where they have a few days of quietness and then speed up a bit.
Yes, yeah. So we've currently got Angelica, who's in our care. So she was lovely owners, and they've had her for 25, 30 years. But I strongly suspect has got an egg in her bladder, which is just something that tortoises can do. Which
is what made me think of this. Like, how does an egg get into the bladder?
Yeah.
Surely people will find that interesting.
Yeah. So she's in our care, and we'll be operating on her on Wednesday, I think.
And she's, even though they've had her 25 years, she's over 50, isn't she?
Yes, So. I think she's probably older than that, to be fair.
She's big. She's over 4 kilos, isn't she?
Yeah, I suspect she would have been a wild import, looking at how lovely her shell is, she probably would have been adult. So I think we talked through this sort of things before with Torty, my tortoise that we inherited, and she probably would have come into the country in the 70s most likely. So I think really, although they're saying 50, you could probably add another 20 years onto that, I reckon.
Yeah.
Because she would have been imported as an adult. So yeah,
and she's a grumpy old lady.
She's very grumpy. She looks like thoroughly miserable and upset.
Yeah.
I think that's just her resting face, though.
And also, if she has got an egg in her bladder, then she's allowed to be.
Yeah, but it must be uncomfortable, you'd think, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like a urinary stone, I think.
But because tortoises just don't really show anything.
No.
So anyway, major surgery for her this week. Hopefully she'll be okay.
I hope so now after. She's been with us. You get to know them, don't you?
Yeah.
She's funny. So I thought we'd start with the normal, well, not normal, but dog and cat sort of anatomy first, which is more normal for us. So they've got a uterus or a womb in most mammals, but we'll go for a few that are a bit different. Yeah. And it's called viviparity, where a fetus develops in the uterus and they give birth to a baby,
a live
baby, and it's most mammals. But yeah, I was going to leave the anatomy to you. So I've got ovaries, fallopian tubes, and then the cervix really is.
Yeah, I mean, it's fairly standard in that I suppose different to a human reproductive tract, rather than having like a large uterine body. They're more split into two long horns, we call it. So it's like a long tube up each side, and your puppies or kittens will be like in single file up each side of the uterus. Other than that, anatomically, it's relatively similar, really. So your ovary will produce an egg, effectively, which then goes into the oviduct, the fallopian tube, and then ultimately then goes down into the womb. Of course, different to standard human reproduction, they'll produce multiple eggs, if you like. There's not many different. I don't know what we're talking. There's not many other differences really.
No, so I think they've still got the cervix, which when they're pregnant produces like a mucus plug. The same with humans to help protect.
I suppose actually no, where there is a difference, and I would need to do more homework on this, but the hormone cycle is different, and in terms of how pregnancy works, maintaining a pregnancy is different as well.
Yeah.
So in bitches in particular, all of the hormone stimulus to maintain and keep a pregnancy and look after those puppies inside is all produced by the bitch rather than the puppies, which is why with the hormone cycling that female dogs will go through, they will always have some degree of false pregnancy afterwards. And that might be overt, and they might show nesting behaviours and produce milk, sometimes a lot of milk, even if they're not pregnant. Or it may be more subtle, and there might not be much to see from the outside. But as far as the reproductive hormones are concerned, they'll always have a degree of false pregnancy.
Yeah.
Different to cats, so cats need to be stimulated by mating with a male cat for that to happen.
Yeah, and induce ovulators. And actually, even though we're not talking about the male side of it, the weird things with cats is if cats have the male cats have like a spiny penis, which then induces the female cat to ovulate. Yeah, there you go. Good luck, Alice.
Yeah, they have a spiny penis.
I think that's what all vet nurses remember learning at college, because they just show you, it's not nice.
Yeah, and that triggers the female to ovulate. Ferrets are similar as well. So cats, if they don't ovulate, it's no big deal. No. They'll start screeching again in a few weeks when the hormone cycle comes back round. Then you've got species like ferrets, I suspect in common with most other mustelids, I would think, like ferrets and similar things. I'm not sure though, but so with ferrets, when they come into season and they're ready to reproduce and the ovaries are there ready with eggs, they have to be mated. Otherwise, they'll enter a persistent estrus, which is where the estrogen levels will rise and rise and rise. And if they're not mated or you don't do something about it, it is commonly fatal.
Yeah. And it's a bit tricky, really, for them having them as pets, really, because it always used to be that ferrets were working animals. And I remember when I was little with my uncle having them and all his friends, one of the group or someone locally would always have a vasectomized male, and it would just go around all the females if they didn't want to mate it and have babies, just to make sure that didn't happen. But you don't really have that anymore because people keep them as pets rather than working. And so we end up with them having problems, don't we, the females?
Yeah. So the vasectomized male is a male that has had his tubes cut so that the testicles are still there, but the sperm cannot reach the outside world.
And it still wants to mate.
Yeah, so they'll still have all those urges, they'll still mate with the females, whereas a castrated male isn't going to be able to trigger the female to come out of the estrus.
And so even though she doesn't get pregnant, her body knows she's mated, and then she doesn't get stuck in the estrus
she'll release
cycle.
those eggs, and then that estrus is over. But yeah, interestingly with ferrets, statistically, if we neuter them, so castrate or spay, they're at a higher risk of hormone issues later in life, which a lot of the studies for that come from the States, like America, where ferrets are often neutered very young, like 8 weeks of age. So actually in this country we probably don't see quite the same level of hormone issues as what they will out there, but it is still a risk.
Yeah, but then it's a risk if you don't neuter them as well. So you can't really win.
No, you can't win either way. It's sort of managing it.
Yeah.
So we use a variety of surgical neutering, hormone implants. The hormone injections you used to get are not available at the moment. So, yeah,
Made
that's
things
ferrets.
trickier.
You don't see many ferrets, to be fair.
No. We castrate a few ferrets, don't we? But I think people tend to
Yeah.
keep males as pets now just because it is a
Yeah,
bit
I don't know. I think they're just
easier.
not.
Well, they are a bit smelly, yeah.
In my opinion, they're not my favourite animal because they do
They're
really smell.
great pets, though.
Oh, they're fantastic little animals.
But
it's
just the smell. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bless them. And then I've got, you get two different things. No, I forgot about ferrets, and they are one of the real weird ones. So some animals do menstruate, and that's the difference really we should point out between like dogs and humans. So humans, apes, old world monkeys, some bats, and then two different types of rodents. That's it. That's all of the animals that menstruate, which means that the uterine lining, if they don't get pregnant, is actually shed and removed, whereas the other animals that have an estrus, they resorb the uterine lining, which seems, if you're living in the wild, it's a lot of energy to expend all the time. So it seems like a better way of doing it. 99% of mammals will have an estrus cycle. And the uterine lining is called the endometrium.
Yeah.
So,
And that's another quirk with dogs and cats to some extent, but dogs as an example, pyometra is something that we worry about, which is a womb infection. And part of the reason behind that is because you will end up with that endometrial hyperplasia, so there's overgrowth of the lining of the womb, which with successive hormone cycles and seasons, that will continue to develop and develop and develop until it's just much more likely to get infected because of the excess tissue that's there.
And I suppose because they've got, like, they do bleed a little bit.
Yep.
You've got an opening there for infection to get up and in. And
to climb in,
Yeah.
And it happens, so it happens in cats, and we would see as many cats with pyometra as we would dogs, most likely, but because actually most cats are neutered.
Yeah, because it's too hard to live with. You're either getting lots of kittens or cats
dealing with a
wailing
screaming
every
cat.
3 weeks. And they do lose body condition as well, don't they? They go very thin if they're coming into season constantly. The cats will, basically scream, roll around in the floor.
Yeah.
You'll sometimes get people calling up saying they think their cat's dying.
Yeah, I'll get calls out of hours for people think their cat's had
hit
some
by a
sort of
car
trauma or something, and actually, the more they describe it, actually they're just cycling.
In season.
So most of the times those sort of phone consults end in a bit of a giggle when
Phone in the morning and get them in for neutering.
Yeah, they only realise that actually they're just desperate to find a male cat.
Yeah.
That's what they're trying to do.
And the problem with them then going out, if they're in season, is they're going to get pregnant, but also they can pick up things if they're not vaccinated, feline leukemia, and then you've got feline immunodeficiency virus, which is spread via mating, and there's no vaccine for that.
So it's FIV, which essentially works in the same way as HIV in people, and is very common in like feral cat colonies.
Yeah, and it can be passed on to the kittens then that are then born.
And what you've got to remember with people with a female cat, if they're not going to get neutered and they're just letting it out, that male cat that mates that female is going to be mating many other females locally and fighting with lots of other male cats, and is going to be a big risk of disease transmission.
Yeah.
And the mating process is horrible as well, to be fair.
Yeah, with the male with its spiny penis.
Not only the spiny penis, but they like proper grab the back of the female's neck with their teeth.
Yeah. And the females just can't concentrate on anything else, can they, when they're in season? They don't want to eat, they don't really groom very much. They just want to get outside, and it calls all the other male cats in the area outside your house, so they're all crawling as well.
Outside the door and fighting.
Yeah, just neuter.
So if there's a takeaway from those neuter female cats.
Yeah, and we do see some that they will breed from a very young age as well, won't they? And they're not developed yet, and then having the kittens, they're just in such poor condition after they've had them, aren't they? Yeah. It's really sad.
And also things like the panleukopenia virus. You'll have people that call because, I know, cats had kittens and then they all, sometimes they'll be born deformed effectively with neurological issues, or will die shortly after. So, it's just not. Yeah. No, and not something to support either. There's people out there that are just got female cats that are going out all the time and getting pregnant and selling kittens, and they
can have a few litters a year. It's just, it really takes it out of them. it's definitely not nice for them. And then we've already mentioned the pyometra in the female dogs. And sometimes you just can't believe it, can you, how big the uterus is? Because so you get an open pyometra or a closed pyometra.
Yeah.
And the open isn't always necessarily such an emergency because it means that the pus can
is
come
draining.
out.
and you will see pus dribbling from the vulva, essentially.
Yeah.
It's quite unpleasant.
Whereas a closed one, the cervix is still closed and it's all just building up and getting bigger and bigger, and the risk is it can rupture.
Yeah, and you will see them where the womb has got so large it ruptures inside.
Yeah, and then they're peritonitis, high risk, aren't they?
Yeah.
So neutering your female dogs, it's a bit more complicated, isn't it, with female dogs? With different breeds, we will say maybe to do it a bit older. With smaller and medium breeds, we may say to do it before a season.
It's one of those things where the evidence is constantly shifting and changing and not clear.
It's really hard to keep on top of.
And but also then you've got evidence, and then sometimes that evidence is not clear cut in terms of what is cause and what is correlation between either certain cancers and neutering, or certain breeds and ages and everything else.
And then you've got people's actual lives that they have to live with the dog in season or not exercise it. And with puppies as well, if you've got a puppy, you have to base your training classes and things around the season, which when they're a teenager is when you want to be doing your puppy training again. And so that can affect them later in life. So it's just weighing up everything, isn't it, with the owners.
Yeah. And I would say alongside that, there's so much opinion out there as well.
Yeah, strong opinion.
Strong opinion in what should be done and when. And we're starting to see a rise in, I have to, not me personally, but certainly online, a lot of discussion around something called ovarian sparing.
Yes.
Neutering, which is essentially where I think you take out the womb rather than the ovaries. So if we talk about the spay procedure, which is effectively, in most species, is an ovariectomy minimum, sometimes with then a ovariohysterectomy. So the important thing with most animals is you remove the ovary, and that then takes away all of the hormone stimulus that follows on from that.
And if the dog's having a laparoscopic spay, it'll be just removing the ovaries.
So if it's a laparoscopic, or people might know as a keyhole surgery, you just remove the ovaries. To be fair, when we do our routine spays, a lot of the time we're just removing the ovary and part of the womb that's attached to it nowadays.
Because there's a thought that if we're removing part of the womb, there's less risk of like a stump pyometra is what they say, but I think that's getting less and less now, isn't it?
Really. As long as you, certainly in young female dogs and cats, if you just remove just the ovaries, then you should be fine.
And it's less painful that way because there's less pulling during the surgery.
Yeah. In theory, a bit less of a risk of urinary incontinence. But again, that's not that clear cut. I don't really have a preference for keyhole or traditional. I think for me it all depends on the surgeon and the technique.
Yeah, that's because I've seen both, and I think it is. Yeah, it just depends how often the person is performing it. That
like
does it.
For the average spay that I would do, I mean, the wound that you're left with is really very small.
Yeah.
Like in the muscle layer, you're probably looking like, I don't know, 2 to 3 centimetres even. And sometimes like a 20+ kilo dog.
Yeah. And then I'm seeing them back for post-op checks, and we'll normally see them at 3 to 5 days. And at that point, we're saying 10 or 15-minute lead walks a few times a day after that. And then we see them back about 7 days after that. And at that point, we're saying lead walking up to normal exercise over the next few days. So within 2 weeks, they're normally back to normal.
There's always going to be exceptions.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't know. For me, we haven't got a place here for keyhole surgery yet. I just don't really see the need for it at the moment.
Yeah.
That might change in the future. But.
And I think the main argument with it is reduced pain, but we've got really good pain relief protocols. And then also quicker wound healing, because it's 3, I think, smaller holes rather than 1, but they really aren't that much smaller than what you were describing. No. So, and like 2 weeks isn't too long to be out of business, really.
No, exactly. It's very manageable.
And it's cheaper generally to do a traditional spay than laparoscopic.
Yeah, but worth pointing out the spay procedure varies on different species as well. So like generally a mammalian spay is remove the ovaries and then maybe womb, maybe not. birds will do what is called a spay procedure, but you can't remove the ovary, at least not easily and not without great risk. So you don't want to remove the ovary in birds because it's all wrapped around the major blood vessels in the body. So you remove the womb. Reptiles, you remove the ovary.
Yeah. And then rabbits is quite a common one that we neuter, and is really important, isn't it? Because, you know the fact it's about 60 or 70 or
no,
even
it's
higher.
higher than that, I think. I think it's up to 80% in some studies of female rabbits will get womb cancer. So it's very, very common. And that is something that we do see. I've seen multiple cases over the years.
Yeah.
I think there's probably an awful lot of other older female rabbits out there which we don't see.
Yeah, or they just die. And they do get very hormonal rabbits as well. They're made to breed. So when you get aggressive female rabbits, it's quite often they're just very hormonal and grumpy. Yeah. So neutering can make a massive difference to them. Yeah,
I would be a very strong advocate of neutering male and female rabbits.
Yeah. And then guinea pigs I've got down, because we do quite a few guinea pig neuters as well.
Yeah.
Because the females can get ovarian cysts as they get older.
Similar to rabbits, I think the studies in guinea pigs, something like 80% or so can get ovarian cysts. Now, some people speculate that they're not painful. Some of the cysts are hormonally active, some of them are not. My thoughts would be that I think they probably are
And
painful.
humans with ovarian cysts do say that it's uncomfortable and can be extremely painful. Yeah.
So I for me, if I examine a guinea pig and I can feel that there's ovarian cyst there, I'll often discuss, do we go ahead and spay? Do they want to monitor? But generally for me, if the cysts are anything from like 1-2 centimetres plus, then I think spaying them is recommended.
And they can get very big, so just the space occupying side of them.
I've had some that are like, the biggest one I've ever seen was almost tennis ball size, like massive inside a guinea pig.
Was that just one, or was it lots?
One, and the other one had a smaller one, like 2 centimetres. It will get huge.
Yeah, and that's got to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And stop you being able to fill up the gut so much, and they need to be eating all the time, don't they?
And I've seen several, again, womb cancers in guinea pigs over the years as well.
Yeah.
We did one, I don't know, within the last couple of years here. She had 2 ovarian cysts, so one on each ovary, and had a large womb tumour as well.
Yeah. And I think that's with all of these really, neutering them young. So cats will do from about 10 weeks, won't we? If they're feral cats, we would do them at earlier, like 8 weeks.
You can essentially do them any age, the cats, really.
Yeah. And the dogs we've said that all different ages. Rabbits we do from about 4 months, but...
Probably from 5 months.
It depends on the size of them, doesn't it?
Can be quite tricky when they're young.
Especially if they're like Netherland dwarfs and they're tiny, they need to be a bit older. And then we'll do guinea pigs, rats, mice.
Yeah. Guinea pigs I'd rather do younger.
Yeah.
Although not tiny.
No.
Rats and mice any age.
Hamsters we only do if they've got a problem, really, don't we?
Yeah,
if they get, because they do get pyometra as well.
They'll get womb infections, they'll get testicular cancers as well.
Yeah. So, but with most of them, doing them younger, they're lean, so there's not as much body fat there, so it's easier to find everything. And they just bounce back after. I mean, kittens, they're just... Yeah, it's scary. They're just out playing. They're just, and with the pain relief we've got now as well, it just makes it. And I always say with the puppies as well, that they've come in to see us every month until they're 6 months. So if we are doing those early neuters, which obviously isn't right in some species, in some breeds, but in some of the smaller ones, they're used to us. They're used to coming in. It's less stressful for them. And they just bounce through the door at their post-op check, like, I'm back for more treats. Yeah. That's the only thing they don't like is the admit appointment for the op, because they don't get any treats because they've had to be starved.
What's going on? This isn't right. Something's up.
And they're normally sat by our sink, like looking at the treat bowl and making you feel guilty. The other thing I didn't mention actually is with girls coming into season all the time, especially we get, it just seems to be quite a lot of the flat-faced dogs. They get vaginitis quite often, and people will sometimes use like nappies on them, won't they, while they're in season, and then we do see some like vaginitis and infections from that. Yeah,
I would speculate with the flat-faced breeds because they can't clean themselves.
They can't get round and clean.
And also you'll see it with the poodly crosses and stuff. They're so hairy.
Yeah, and so they get little dermatitis there. The other thing with the mammals I found, which I thought was quite interesting, is some will go through menopause like humans, and it seems to be like the social animals that have like the older females in the group. So it's like chimpanzees, orcas, beluga whales, narwhals and pilot whales have been proven to have an actual menopause. So it isn't just them losing their fertility, they do actually stop having seasons or menstruating. I don't know what orcas if they have. Yeah. Well, I suppose they have a season, I suppose, because they didn't come up on the menstruation list. They're looking into elephants, I think, a bit, because that's the thing I thought, well, if all those species do it that have like that matriarchal female, do elephants? But it doesn't look like they do. But they said that Asian elephants stop having calves and don't know that they have a menopause, but African ones seem to stop having calves later than the Asian ones as well, which I couldn't see why. But they just have a fertility decrease like dogs and a lot of the other things. So they'll keep having seasons, but won't necessarily be fertile.
But I suppose in terms of like I don't know how they, because I think with the social species like orcas as a really good example, those older animals will play such a valuable role in passing on knowledge and teaching and stuff.
So I think it's an evolutionary thing.
Yeah, but logically I would think if you're an orca with a baby in tow, that's a big deal. Yeah. Whereas if you're an African elephant with a baby in tow, seems less of a, and
you've got the whole herd, I suppose.
And most of them just die anyway. They used to sort of look after their babies.
Yeah.
You watch them trying to cross rivers and you're like, they're supposed to be this intelligent, caring animal. Like, let's just walk through this river with this tiny baby. And just watch it float away and get all distressed.
They seem to fall into wells quite often as well. Because I follow the Kenyan Wildlife Services, and they're always having to. But there was one the other day, and the mum had got in there with it as well. So then the mum was stuck as well. And they're just so big, aren't they? But yeah, it must take a toll having a baby at an older age. Yeah. And so that's probably the evolutionary thing behind it, is that you do have these females living longer that can then pass on all the knowledge.
Yeah. It is fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's really, and I wonder if there'll be more animals, because they're only just learning about, well, not only just learning, but bothering to study female human menopause, aren't they? So I wonder if there'll be more animals that they pick up on that they just haven't researched yet.
Probably will be, I suspect.
Yeah. So then we get on to the, I think, more interesting one, the egg layers.
The egg layers.
It just blows my mind. They've just got such weird anatomy compared to, and like the tortoise getting an egg stuck in the bladder, like. How does that happen?
Yeah. So I guess in terms of how that happens, so the reptile reproductive tract. So you've got your ovary, which will produce effectively egg yolks. Really, so the egg yolk will develop in the ovary, and that then goes into then the oviduct, which sort of merges into the womb or uterus. Anatomically, I think it's slightly different on like a basic level compared to a mammalian one, but the principle is still the same. It's just like a tube. And then along that tube, so the egg yolk drops in, and then there'll be further egg white and membranes, ultimately shell and colouring, which is laid down as it passes along that tube, and then are ready to lay.
Yeah.
In reptiles, of course, they've only got like one hole that everything comes out from. So then you've got your digestive tract, you've got your reproductive tract and your urinary tract, which all comes down into that space. So what can happen is if you have a female tortoise who feels like she wants to lay eggs, but the environmental conditions are not quite correct, she's not quite got somewhere that's appropriate to lay eggs in terms of something to dig into, what they will sometimes do is the eggs are sort of there ready to go, and as they're being produced they can come a bit too far down, and then they can reflux back up into the urinary bladder. So would
it come down as a whole with the shell on it and everything? Mm-hmm. Oh, so it goes up there, because I thought it must then develop in the bladder, because it must just start off small.
No. So it comes down as like an egg that's ready to go, because of course I have to say I'm not sure this is all tortoises, but I suspect it probably is most of them. They can absorb water through their bums as well.
Yes, yeah.
So
it's just yeah.
And they'll
so maybe if they're dehydrated as well.
Yeah. So I don't know whether it's that the eggs sort of there ready to go and they have a bath, and then while sucking the water up through their bums they suck the egg up into the bladder. I don't know. But it is something you will see, and whereas the womb is designed to have that smooth muscle which can push the eggs down, the bladder is unable to do that.
No.
So if the egg is in the bladder, it's stuck.
Yeah.
It's not going to come from there. So we'll put the X-rays on from Angelica.
Yeah, because she did have another egg, didn't
yeah.
she, which she did manage to pass.
Yeah, so we gave her some hormone treatment, and she passed one egg. But you can see across the 3 X-rays that the second egg
it's just not
has
going
not moved.
anywhere. And that's because the medication we use doesn't work on the bladder, it only works on the reproductive
so
tract.
the fact that egg's not moved at all is concerning.
And you're going to get it out on Wednesday.
Hopefully, as well as then spaying her. So we'll then remove all of... Because we know, we've scanned her, we know that she's got lots of follicles or egg yolks inside. Her blood sample's pretty good. She's got a very high calcium level, which is because the body's like mobilising all of that calcium because it wants to lay the eggs.
Yeah.
And
then we've kept her rehydrated, haven't we?
Yeah.
Trying to tempt her to eat. And she is eating now. She's been having some baths.
But no, unfortunately, it's just a reflection of not that she's been badly looked after. If anything, she's been very well looked after and has been kept with the right environmental conditions that have triggered her to want to breed. But she's not in the Mediterranean.
No.
So
you can never get it. How she would
in
be.
the Mediterranean, she would be perfect conditions, but also be loads of males wandering around, bashing her and knocking her and mounting her.
Yeah.
And that would then trigger these eggs
Stimulate
with the mating process.
Because that's what we should point out, really, is that they can, a lot of these species, they will lay eggs like chickens. They don't have to be fertilised. They don't have to have a male around. They'll just produce eggs anyway.
She's not been mated. So,
and
I think having said that, she had been with a male more than a decade ago, I think, from what the previous owners said. And they can store sperm for a very long time. And lots of species, we don't actually know how long they can store it
like
for.
Komodo dragons can be absolutely ages. And I think they can do it without having a male as well.
There's some reptiles which don't need a male around. And they can, I can't remember what the term
I know, I did look that up and I didn't write it down. And they make a little clone of themselves.
I can't remember what it's called. But it is amazing.
Yeah.
And then we've got, reptiles, of course, not all of them will lay eggs. Some
of them are live bearers.
Snakes and lizards.
I think some chameleons as well. I think there's one,
Is it the pygmy chameleons?
Yeah, maybe.
It might be the tiny ones.
Yeah.
Some snakes. To my knowledge, I don't think there's any colonians, any like tortoises or turtles that do. I think
they're all eggs. And the eggs are all different as well, was the interesting thing. Like some lay really hard shell eggs like birds, and then reptile eggs are a bit softer.
Like snake eggs.
Because they like to be quite humid, I think. And then you get the really soft ones like amphibians, like frogs, that are like a jelly egg.
Yeah. So amphibians are like a really basic sort of form, really.
Yeah.
There's no shell or anything. Some of those have like fascinating reproductive cycles.
Yeah.
Some of them will produce live young too.
Yes, there are some. I think it was some salamanders and things.
Yeah. And then you've got birds. There's no birds that produce live young. They all lay eggs because ultimately were once upon a time designed for flight, even if they don't all fly now. So they just want to get that egg out and laid so they're not carrying it around and weighing them down. And their reproductive tract is similar to the reptiles, except for you've got your ovaries and then they effectively again produce egg yolks which are dropped down into the reproductive tract, but it's much more open, so they can miss and just fall into the inside of the bird effectively. And
then that's when we get the egg peritonitis that we see. And it's so common, isn't it? It's
very common across birds in general, but particularly chickens that have been designed to lay and lay and lay.
Yeah.
So all it takes is one thing to go wrong, from that yolk to white to membranes to shell to colour. Any of that bit goes wrong and it'll back up.
Yeah.
And then the bird will still continue producing the egg yolks. They've got nowhere to go, so they just fall inside them. And then get infected a lot of the time. They can resorb them to some extent, but it only takes a little bit of bacteria to get into there, and away you go.
And one of the things with the hens is that they need the calcium to produce the shell, but when you've got like the expat or ex-caged hens, and even the free range ones that are made to lay an egg a day and not stop, so they don't have a broody season, they don't stop when they're molting, they just keep going. They need to take the calcium out of their bones to produce that egg, and at some age they're not going to have enough calcium to do it, because they're not having that break. So we see that a lot, don't we?
Important to point out, it's not that they're like abused as such or anything like that in terms of being made to lay. It's genetically they've been bred to do it,
to lay that. And so that's why they're normally killed at 18 months, because they will start getting problems after that. But then, me included, rehome them. And it's not such common knowledge, I don't think.
I think we talked about it before with some of my bugbears, and
Yeah.
they make fantastic pets and they're really engaging and they're great. But I think that there's a lot of these rehoming charities out there that don't make it clear that they're not designed for a long life.
No, and they are going to have problems.
They are production animals.
And then you
so
end up...
if you want a pet, get a traditional or a bantam breed.
Or be ready to be given hormone injections.
Yeah.
So an implant we use, don't we?
Yeah.
But then that's made for dogs that it's licensed to last 6 or 12 months, depending on which one you use. With chickens, it depends what time of the year it is, what the light cycle is, where they are.
Yeah. Sometimes they only last a month.
Yeah, and then sometimes it will last 6 or 7 months, and it's not cheap, is it?
And from my experience, I think what I find is that the more you give them, the less time they last.
Yeah.
I don't know why, but the more they've had, they just
their
don't
body's
last
just
as long.
fighting it off.
I've implanted Chicky and Acton recently because they're both ancient. And Acton, I don't know, I just felt should have been laying eggs. I think she just wrapped up a little bit earlier this year than what she should have done.
Okay.
Then also Jack eats them. So
So you don't know.
I don't know. So I just thought I'll implant her. And then Chicky, the same. I just felt like she'd wrapped up laying a little bit earlier than what she should have done.
Yeah.
So I thought if I implant them this time of year,
It
we're
just
going
gives them a
into
bit of a
winter
break,
anyway.
doesn't it? Yeah. And they can build that calcium back up. Because from what I've read, there's not that much research really into older chickens, because all the research is for farmed chickens.
Yes. Yeah.
And so there's nothing after that 18 months. But from what I did find, they said that as they get older, they can't release as much calcium from their bones as easily, and then they can't store it back in as easily. So having that break is really important.
And we used to do a number of spay procedures. We've done less recently.
Yeah.
Because we just went through a phase where some of them just weren't responding as expected, would still continue with the egg yolk peritonitis. So just started to question how valuable it was doing it.
But my squirrel did really well.
Yeah, and I saw
she was the trickiest one because she'd had the supralloin injection so much that she was all shriveled up.
But that's probably the best thing to do. And I saw another client with another chicken that we'd
I've spilled my drink.
So I saw another chicken that we'd spayed 4 years ago, I think. No, I didn't see the chicken, but I saw the owner with another chicken, and she's doing great. Like, never look back. So it definitely has its place, but it's not clear exactly what triggers the ovary to work.
No, there's just not enough research because people haven't been keeping them for pets for very long, have they?
No.
But they do make great pets.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, I think as far as birds go, sort of better than parrots, really. Like, they don't live as long in a positive way, so they're not going to worry about your children inheriting them or something like that. But also, you can sort of provide their welfare needs so much easier.
Yeah. Did you forget on then my next thing was I challenged you to find the weirdest uterus or reproductive system of a female. I've got 2 things.
I think mine will win. Okay,
go on then.
No, you go first.
The one thing I didn't choose because I thought you might choose it as well. So I've got the porcupine.
Yeah.
Because what I didn't realise, so the babies are called porcupets. And they're born with the spines.
Surely not.
Yeah, they are. Like guinea pigs, so they're born ready to go, but the spines
rodents,
are softer.
Yeah,
and then they harden up after a day, but they are still like...
That's spiky.
Yeah, when they're born. And the gestation's 112 days, so those spines are in the uterus. So they are softer. But I think even when hedgehogs are little...
they have their little milk spines.
They don't feel as prickly, but it would still be uncomfortable. It's not like a smooth thing coming out. It's it's prickly. And it's got the longest gestation out of all the rodents, the porcupine, 112 days. And a group of them, because I love that, it's called a prickle.
A prickle.
Prickle of porcupines.
112 days is quite a long time.
Yeah, for a rodent.
I wonder how long a capybara is.
I don't know. But that's spiky. That's what I want on London Zoo. That's where I went to find them.
It's a reliable source. So.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Poor mum. Yeah. Prickly thing inside her for 112 days.
I'd say they're cute, but they're not really that cute, are they?
They're like cute ugly, aren't they?
Not compared to like a baby guinea pig, though, are they?
Or like we were all debating yesterday, the baby pigeon.
The baby pigeon is cute.
Claire doesn't think he's cute.
Yeah, Becky did.
And Becky didn't think he was cute.
I think he's cute.
I thought he was. And then my other one I've got is the kiwi.
Yeah,
so
kiwis
that's
are
a
cool.
flightless bird. Their egg,
Not the fruit.
not the fruit. Their egg occupies 25% of the mother's body size. So it's a good job that the kiwi can't fly because it wouldn't be able to carry that egg. It was massive. And so if it was a chicken, the egg would weigh a pound.
What's
So
that? What's
400
that?
grams.
400 grams. Wow.
So like nearly half a kilo. And in a human, that would be a 4-year-old child.
That's mad. I think they have a really long incubation as well.
I think it was. No, I didn't look that up. I did look at what one of the shortest ones was, and it was possums. 12 days, and they have loads of babies and just carry them all around on their back. But 12 days.
Yeah, incubation done by the male and can take anything from 74 to 90 days.
Oh, that's fair then. So the mum carries that massive baby, and then the dad incubates it. Yeah.
It's your job now. Well, it would take so much energy, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
For her to generate
to lay that egg. Think how much calcium that is.
Yeah.
Yeah. 25% of its.
What's a baby
Just imagine
kiwi
carrying
called?
that around. It's just mad. Yeah, then the last type that there is of giving birth is ovoviviparous. So it's like seahorses where you have live young, but they don't have a placenta. And so that's how the male seahorse is able to so they keep the eggs inside and then give birth to live young. So it's a bit in between the two, really. And sharks, rays, and snakes are the main ones. Oh, and salamanders. Some salamanders do that as well. But yeah.
Cool.
So it's all weird. So what's yours?
The echidna.
Oh, I thought you were going to say hyenas, because hyenas have like
hyenas are quite cool as well.
Well, they have a pseudopenis, don't they,
Yes,
where it's basically their clitoris, and then they have to give birth through that, and it's just mad. That's what I thought you were going to go for.
No, I was going to go for the echidna because I only recently found out. I knew that they laid eggs.
Yeah.
But I just assumed that they would just lay the egg and then, I don't know, sit on it and keep it warm.
Yeah, right.
Actually, there's a species of bird, I think this is also in like New Zealand or somewhere down that
In New Zealand and Australia have got all the weird animals.
They've got all the weird things that are down that part of the world. There's a bird that lays her eggs into compost. And so,
what, to keep it warm?
Yeah. So more like a reptile.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so we should say there's a few mammals that give birth to eggs. So I think platypus do, don't they? And then the echidnas.
Yeah, the megapode group.
Megapode? That sounds like a
those
dinosaur.
Incubator birds. Well, they are like quite ancient looking birds.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the brush turkey does it as well.
That's a really good idea.
So they're...
So they don't have to sit
just
on
doing a
it
quick
then,
fact
they
check.
just put them in the compost.
Yeah.
And that keeps them warm and humid, I suppose. But then they don't have to turn it then, because most birds turn their eggs, don't they?
Yeah.
So that must be in between a bird and a reptile, the type of egg.
Yeah. So, so effectively, they just make a mound of compost, put their eggs in it, and then the compost does the job, and they just do their thing.
Do they raise them after?
I think they do.
Wow.
I think they do. So it says here, says that they've got a non-social incubation that raises questions. This is Wikipedia, so maybe not that reliable. Anyway, so
that's cool.
There's birds like that lay their eggs in the compost to keep it warm. But the echidna, I assumed was something similar.
Yeah.
But I only found out recently that they have a very short gestation period, I think less than a couple of weeks, to produce the egg.
Yeah.
And then they lay the egg, and then they scoop it into like a little leathery tiny pouch on their underside. And then they hold the egg in there. And I presume just carry around their day-to-day business. Yeah. And then it hatches. And I think that's only like another 12 days or so, something like that.
So that they've got their own nest, basically.
Yeah, so it hatches then as this like semi-translucent, naked, like little thing. In common with other marsupials. Like kangaroos, for example.
Oh, yeah, they only have a tiny...
although they might be like 6 foot tall, they'll give birth to a baked bean-sized baby.
Yeah, and then it just stays in their pouch.
Yeah, like climbs up from the... They don't have a vulva because of marsupials, but anyway, climbs up from where it pops out.
No, they haven't they? Because haven't they got like two... I thought they had like
it's
two...
I think it's more of a cloaca or something like that.
Oh, okay. Because I thought kangaroos had like 2 or 3 vulvas or something. Because I think they have several uteruses as well. Some of the marsupials do, don't they?
Fact check this. I know that sugar gliders have like 2 halves of their reproductive tract.
I think that's like koalas as well.
Because the male penis is in like 2 parts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, really bizarre.
So weird. It's so fascinating.
So the echidna, pops out this like tiny like little egg.
Yeah.
Scoops it into this little leathery pouch on
Yeah.
the underside, and they develop the pouch as well. So the pouch then comes and goes depending on where they are in their reproductive cycle, I believe. This egg then sits in there, hatches into this tiny little thing, and then I guess then that continues sitting there. I don't know. It's called a puggle.
Oh, see,
echidna.
that's cute.
Yeah, and then goes on to develop into an echidna.
Oh, yeah, see, that's
and
cool.
echidnas, if anyone doesn't know what an echidna looks like, they're a bit like a weird, spiky, fluffy hedgehog thing with like badger feet and a weird, long beak nose.
Yes.
For,
it's like that little
around.
thing in that Eddie Redmayne film.
Yes, the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
It's like the little thing he carries around in
that's
his...
what it's modelled on.
Yeah, that's what they're like.
Yeah.
I saw them at Tonga Zoo. We had to go around like 2 or 3 times before it was out because they said they don't... I think they just like come out, sleep, then they come out and sleep, and they have like a real... Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, no, and they hibernate as well.
They just they've just like picked and choosed what they want out of each of the species.
Literally, they spent millions of years being like, oh yeah, that's a good technique. Or
I agree with the hibernation.
It's fascinating animals. Makes
cool.
our native animals look really boring, to be fair.
Yeah, they are. But then you get to New Zealand and theirs are a bit. You just think, why they don't fly? They lay their eggs on the floor, so they're like just so vulnerable. And they just all seem... They don't have waterproof feathers, quite a lot of them as well. They're just,
It's island life because they've been isolated for so long.
And then they haven't been able to evolve as quickly as...
Yeah, and essentially without any mammalian presence.
Yeah.
Until people rocked up.
Yeah, I read now they're going to try and get rid of like rats and things. They're having areas now that are fenced off where they're trying to actually... completely get rid of.
And how do you completely get rid of them?
I don't know. They've done it on smaller islands, haven't they?
I was reading that book on Skoma that I'm reading about where they previously tried to eradicate the rabbits and years gone by. Maybe it wasn't Skoma, it was Stockholm, the other island, and no one's just been successful because it's just
because they're down in the burrows. Yeah.
So
but they're just not. The flightless birds aren't able to keep up with. Yeah.
No.
I think they've got small areas on New Zealand where they've managed to do it, where it's fenced in, and some of the smaller islands off New Zealand have managed it. Yeah. But it'd be a massive and then you've got feral cats and people's house cats, I suppose, as well. Unless you're going to make people keep them in. I think they have
drives on culling cats and things like that.
Yeah,
I think
in Australia they definitely
do it a lot,
do they?
And then you've got Australia where you've got your dingo population, which is sort of semi-naturalised. Because the apex predator previously would have been the what's it called, the thylacine.
Yeah, thylacine.
So, and they're no longer around because they were outcompeted by dingoes and hunted and persecuted. So,
And we've got some questions.
Thank you to everyone.
And they really tied in. It's like you knew what we were going to talk about today. So Di says tortoise hibernation checks is an X-ray an important part of the checks.
Yes. So X-ray or ultrasound scanning or both. So X-ray will detect things like urinary stones, which is not massively common, but if you find them, you need to do something about it.
And you don't want them hibernating with a stone there.
They'll also detect eggs. So if you've got females that have got eggs, that you don't want to hibernate them with eggs inside as well, because they will cause issues.
Which would have been with this one, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and that's what started off the process with Angelica, was her hibernation check. We did an X-ray because they had I had concerns in what they were saying, that things just weren't quite right.
Yeah.
So recommended the X-ray. So in short, X-ray for boys for sure, for girls X-ray and ultrasound scan, so we can see what's going on inside.
And then Sandra said your thoughts on tortoise hibernation just as a whole. So maybe we should discuss what we check.
So not all tortoises hibernate. It's not all tortoise species hibernate. Depends on where they've come from in the world. So your tropical species, like your redfoots, they don't hibernate. And then your African species, like your sulcata and your leopard tortoises, they don't hibernate.
Because it's warm all around there where they live. Yeah,
the conditions are nice. Your Mediterranean species and like your Asian species, they do hibernate. So is thoughts on tortoise hibernation. I always refer back to the principle of trying to compare back to wild existence. And for me,
Yeah.
hibernation is important. It's a physiological thing that they're designed to do as long as they are well. There is always risk with hibernation. So when we've got baby tortoises and juvenile tortoises, in the wild, we've got to remember that a lot of them would die.
Yeah, and we have people, don't we? Used to have a tortoise when we were younger, and one spring it just didn't wake up.
It didn't wake up. But then that's probably because they just left it out in the garden
Yeah.
or didn't look after it properly. So the current sort of guidance is to wait until the tortoise is a few years of age, decent body weight, and we know that they're healthy, and then we've got confidence, or at least as much confidence as we can do, that hibernation will be okay.
Yeah.
Now, again, subject to parasite levels and reproductive status. And
So we'll do a fecal check, won't we, under the microscope to see what it's got, and sometimes a blood test as well before they go to sleep.
But is hibernation something that we should be doing? Yes. Then we need to do it in the correct way. So what people used to do was often just put them in a box in the spare room or something like that.
Yeah.
And in the days before central heating, that would have been appropriate. Nowadays, it's not really appropriate because often houses are centrally heated.
It's too warm
For them to hibernate properly, and they're held in that sort of not quite right phase where they're not cold enough to shut down, they're not warm enough to function, and they can be much more prone to infection and disease. Then our winters are crazy, aren't they?
Yeah.
You know, like one minute it'll be -10, the next minute it's 20 degrees within a couple of weeks in like the same month in January or whatever. And actually then putting them in an outhouse or something like that, the temperature variation is too much. I know a few clients that successfully have semi-naturalised outdoor enclosures. They'll have like a shed outside with a thick layer of earth in the bottom, and they'll let them naturally hibernate there and monitor the temperature ranges in the earth next to the tortoise, and have a heat bulb in there to put on in case it is getting too cold, and I think that's fine.
Yeah.
But we tend to recommend fridge hibernation, so you've got total control over the temperature.
Yeah. And it's easier for most people as well, isn't it? It's doable rather than having the whole setup outside.
Ideally, should be separate fridges, but tortie hibernated on the top shelf of our normal
But at least you're checking it every day then.
So yes to hibernation in general.
Then more of an odd one. Tanya says, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. Do you have any experience? So we hadn't really.
I don't have a lot of
humans
personal
we knew a little bit, but
experience.
not with dogs or cats.
No, I don't have a lot of personal experience. Effectively, it's a condition which is genetic, and it's where skin and cartilage and other connective tissues don't develop properly. I think I'm right in saying with the skin it's less elastic.
Yeah, I think it just tears really easily from what I looked at. And then they get bruising because the skin stretches. So even if it doesn't actually cut, it bruises all around it. And then poor wound healing as well. And then leading into what we were talking about, uterus prolapse as well is quite common because it's just not held in place properly. No. And lens luxation in the eye.
So I think really it's just a case of managing them. Prevention better than cure, trying to avoid things that like to cause trauma. Unfortunately, spaniels are overrepresented.
Yeah, and they like to be running and outside through bushes. And
so it's a case of, to be fair, what logically probably would work is you can buy like the dog suits.
Yeah.
Like...
it's like a waterproof coat, but with legs on it as well. You can get, because I've been recommending those recently because we've had a few dogs that we've done allergy testing on that have all come back for grasses, and it's sort of getting towards the end of the grass season, but it's still affecting them now. And so as the weather gets colder, one of those is quite good to stop contact with your grasses and your weeds. So so don't laugh at dogs if you see them out in their little waterproof coat with trousers. It might be for a reason. They're not all waterproof either.
You can get some that are like the like the morph suits is what I'm looking for. You know, like the suits that people will wear. You get some that's a bit more like that.
Yeah,
just acts as a bit of a barrier.
Yeah. So don't laff at dogs if they look like they've got a funny coat on.
They might need.
It might be medically. It might have been recommended by me.
Yeah.
And then I saw that sheep, cattle, and mink can also get EDS as well. So,
can they?
Yeah, it's quite interesting. I can't imagine because minks are quite flexible anyway, so they'd be even more wobbly.
I presume with mink it's probably a breeding thing, an inbreeding thing.
Yeah,
for the bred for fur
and that's probably why they've picked up on it as well, because there's something that has actually been monitored.
Yeah.
So So it's quite interesting. So yeah, keep sending in questions. Well, hopefully other people found uteruses interesting.
I think just the variety is pretty cool, and the stuff that female reproductive tract is capable of doing, and the different variations is crazy.
It's just mad.
Yeah.
And it's still like baby guinea pigs when they're just born and they're out and they're just ready to go. Yeah. It's just, some things are just crazy.
Yeah. But then also you've got stuff like emperor penguins, like literally lay an egg onto ice and then just sit on it on their feet for, I don't know, how long is there?
Just the things that, the lengths that they go to do it. Oh, and then it's like cats, just being in season every 3 weeks for the whole of the time where it's lighter during the day. Yeah.
Kiwi incubation period is longer than an emperor penguin.
Is it?
Well, the pub quizzes out
there.
Because
it's so massive.
So the emperor penguin is 65 to 75 days.
God.
By the time the chicks appear, their fathers are fasted for 4 months. Crazy,
at least they share it though as well though. So the mum grows the egg and then, but 4 months. Yeah. That's crazy. And then that ties in actually with the puffin, because they were saying that seabirds don't need to, we don't have to worry so much about refeeding syndrome, because those penguins must fast for 4 months.
And then go out and gorge themselves.
And just gorge themselves. And so they're made to not get refeeding syndrome, like the dogs and cats and humans get it. Yeah.
Refeeding syndrome being where if you've had a period of starvation and then you have too much food, and sometimes not even that much, but more food than what you've been having, it can trigger the body to go into refeeding syndrome, which throws out all the body's electrolytes and can be fatal.
And it can kill you.
So the stories after Second World War and concentration camps, wasn't it? People come out.
Yeah, and they just fed them more soup than what they had been having, like watery soup.
And then they would die.
Yeah. I did see that when we went to Auschwitz. They were telling us about that. It's such a shame, and they think they're out and they're safe, and people are just trying to do the thing, and just they see these skinny people and think, give them food, but we have to be careful. And it is hard with the cats. We get them in, and as they're really susceptible to it, because they get fatty liver problems if they've not had food for like 3 days.
And that's where, so if you're particularly an overweight cat, if they're starved, the body's like, oh no, I need to get energy. So they start to break down all the fat in their body and send it all to the liver, ready to be processed.
And the liver's like, I can't deal with this.
And the liver's like, I can't do anything with all this. And then you get all these fat globules that accumulate in the liver.
Yeah. And then they feel even more sick, and then they don't eat even more, and it's just a vicious cycle.
Unless
but if
you work hard to get them better, of course.
But we tube feed them normally, don't we? And if you tube feed them too quickly, then they'll get refeeding syndrome. But your instinct is, they just need food, and you've got to think, no, we've got to do it slowly over 3 days. And even if they start eating by themselves, you've got to limit it, and it's so hard.
Yes.
It's so hard to fight it. Yeah.
Well, I think that's everything. I think we've done that justice, perhaps.
Then you try justice.
So much stuff to know. There's a lot of gaps in my knowledge there, but.
Well, how could you ever know all that?
No, I know. Yeah.
That's the good thing about it. There's always something, isn't there, to learn?
Yeah.
That's what makes it interesting.
Yes, I've been reading about echidna trains today, because.
Have you?
They're like, when they're chatting each other up, you've got the female that the males just all follow along.
There's just a train of echidnas.
Yeah, up to 11 of them.
Imagine
just all
seeing
walking
that.
like a conga. So, yeah.
Well, I've been looking at marmoset anaesthesia, ready for when we go to Wildside to.
Although we may have to anaesthetise one of the puma tomorrow. So
that'll be exciting.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Oh, yeah.
It's exciting for everyone else, but stressful.
Yeah, but once you've done it, you'll be like...
Yeah. To have a protocol for in case it wakes up halfway through and stuff.
You'll have to
hopefully it won't need doing. It's just a wound. So
it might have healed enough to do it.
Yeah. Give it an antibiotic tablet,
Yeah, some pain relief.
Here you go. Wrap it in a towel.
Wrap it in a towel.
Here's a pill popper.
It's like that thing, isn't it, where men are asked, like, do you think you could fight a gorilla or fight this? Part of me thinks I could go in there and...
Want a fight with a mountain lion?
No, not the mountain lion, but I did say the savannah cat. I thought that we wouldn't need to anaesthetise. I reckon I could... And it's probably not true, and it's probably not the best thing you should do, but you do think, I reckon I could do that. Give me a towel and a pair of gauntlets.
Make a good video. Should we try it?
It's just not the way we do it
Send-
anymore,
send
though, is
over.
it?
No, I know.
When I first started veterinary nursing, that's the one we need to do. Actually, we need to get Anna and Becky D,
Yeah, we do.
and we'll have a good catch up of what we used to do, which wasn't always. Then it was thought to be the right way of doing it because you didn't have the drugs and things that you have now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we would be tackling quite a lot of cats, whereas now they have one little pill before they come in for their visit,
It
and
knocks them out a bit.
and they're so happy, and we're happy.
Yeah.
We're not scratched or stressed.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what makes me think.
But then there's a little bit of me that thinks, I don't know, stuff like, anaesthetising a mountain lion. There's still a little bit of cowboyness about it.
Yeah.
You know, I think even in the big establishments,
Yeah.
just because you're working with a wild animal,
Yeah.
you never know quite how it's going to respond to the meds.
No, you've just got to be ready to change your
down in
plan.
the enclosure.
Yeah.
You just got to think on your feet.
And it's not what we normally do, because here we have a protocol for everything. We do everything a certain way. We have our...
We also reached out to 3 different zoo vets, and they've all been really nice, but no one's actually got back to me.
No.
So I asked a few places if I could go and see some procedures or send me some protocols and stuff, but I don't know.
Yeah. At the exotic vet nurse thing, they said that with cats, it can just be, you can have the same species of cat, they can be brothers and sisters, and they'll just react 2 completely different ways to the drugs.
Yeah.
So it'll keep us on our toes.
Yeah, so that might be some excitements. We shall see. Don't think I've got any massive updates for my animals. Sweep's not very well again at the moment, but
And Sweep's coming for a holiday with me next week.
with you,
So I'm having Mickey anyway.
Yeah.
And so I said, I could have Sweep.
Yeah, Sweep the poorly cockatiel, bless him. So he's nebulised and I was on meds again. I've also currently got 3 guinea pigs on meds, but I thought, well, I should see those as well. My morning medicine round is extensive at the moment.
Well, I could if they've got a cage, because they could just go in my spare room.
That's all right. They'll be all right.
It's only a few days.
I've got one that's got urinary issues, got one that's got respiratory issues, and I've got Jaff Cake that's old and arthritic, so I've started him on Metacam, and he's developed a mass, actually, so he's got quite a big lump in his thorax, but I think he's about 7 years old.
Yeah.
And he's showing his age now, and I just think, I'm not going to bother operating.
No, just keep him comfortable.
He's happy. He's out grazing on the lawn, night and stuff, he's fine. So it would just be euthanasia when he declines.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll be far away from it, bless him, because the lump's growing pretty quick. I don't handle them regularly,
no, but
I do handle him every 6 to 8 weeks to clip him, and it definitely wasn't there then. And it's quite large. It's probably like 5 centimetres across, so it's growing quite quickly.
Yeah. Oh, bless him.
Yeah. Still waiting for the goats to come onto season. Normally they'd be cycling by now. Normally like 20th of September onwards they'd start cycling, but I've not had any cycling goats yet. No signs of season.
Waiting.
Which is annoying. I'm really worried it's going to coincide with when we're away for a few days at the end of next week.
What do you do then?
I'll have to give instructions to Dad, who's going to be looking after how to identify which goat,
Yeah,
and
which
which
one
goat
goes
needs to
with
go with
which.
which male.
You should microchip them. Because
No,
then you
they've
could
got
just
ear
give him a
tags, they've got
scanner.
ear
Oh,
tags,
okay. Oh, yeah,
so-
of course they have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my life. Imagine if he puts the wrong one with the wrong
I don't know. But I'll probably just, if there's one that's cycling, I'll probably just come back and deal with it, because we're not going far away. Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, my life. It's crazy.
And then, yes, we've had the mortgage approval on the house.
So that's all moving forward now.
Yeah. So offers accepted, had the mortgage approved. Now we've done all this list of stuff, sent them everything they need. So I'll be following up with them tomorrow and Monday to see what else they need from us. So
That's cool. It'll just be all the searches and stuff then.
yeah. So that's been.
So hang on, how long's the baby goat gestation then?
5 months. So
Hopefully you'll be moved
all being
before
well,
then.
we'll if it all goes to plan, we'll have moved. And
Yeah.
the trouble is, we'll be absolutely maxed out and living off baked beans for a little while when we move. So
Baby goats.
we'll have to get everything set up ready for then all the animals. So not quite sure how that's going to work, but I'm sure we'll make something work.
It'll work out.
Yeah, it'll be fine. He says. Anyway, right, time to do some work soon.
Yeah.
I spoke to someone last night who might be coming down because the dog was really dribbly and a bit lethargic. Had loads of those this week, just dogs that are excessively drooling and lethargic.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's fungi that dogs are coming across or whether it's toads. So
Yeah.
the bufotoxin that toads have can cause these sort of signs. I don't know if there's just young dogs out there licking toads.
No. Well, my friend Rachel, with her puppy, she said she's having to go out and check the garden for mushrooms every day because they're just sprouting up everywhere, and he just goes straight for them.
And just eats them.
Yeah. So she's on mushroom watch all the time.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, cool. We'll wrap it up with that. The next
Brilliant.
one might be Wildside, maybe even. Or
Yeah,
I don't know
that would
when
be
next one's
nice.
booked in, but I need
No,
to.
yeah, because we're going to Wildside on the 10th and
Yeah,
the
but she
4th.
can't do the 10th.
Oh, okay.
No, I did message you. What was the
We'll
other?
have to move that
what was
then.
the other
The
date?
13th or 14th, because that's a Monday when I'm... Well, no, it's a Tuesday, actually, I think, when I'm off. But I'll come in. I was going to come in and do the podcast at Wildside.
The calendar.
So that will probably be... Yeah, that will be a nice one.
14th.
14th, yeah.
Okay.
So we'll come out and...
Yeah.
That'll be the first day then.
that'll-
That'll be Marmoset
That'll
Day.
probably be Marmosettes and Wallaby Neutering.
I'll just interview as you're doing it.
Yeah, that's fine. See how that goes. So I could just use my little walkie-talkie speaker, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or I might get another... I think you can get up to 4 of them to go on the phone. So if I get that...
And tell
then you
Meg
can
and
have
Anna.
one and- yeah. Is it Meg and Anna coming then as well? Or was that on the Friday?
Yeah, no, it was both. It was going to be the
Okay.
same both times in
Yeah,
case.
okay.
I just thought it'd be good to keep the same group so we know where we are.
Yes, okay. Brilliant. Right, very exciting. I think we'll wrap it up. So thank you to Vets Hereford for sponsoring again. I've been Elliot.
I've been Becky.
And we've been the Vet with Pets podcast. Thank you.